I'm impressed. Good morning, everyone. This is the real Fran Lewis. This is MJ Network. MJ in memory of my sister Marcia Joyce, who started me off on this wild crusade. I'm so happy that she did. And we have Michael Butler here, and we have the book that this is amazing. People want to know about it. German 1940 War Campaign Materials from Heinrich Hoffmann, Erwin Rommel, Combat Cameraman, and Propagandist. I looked at these pictures and I cried because I remembered my grandmother.
Right.
My grandmother was in Bergen-Belsen.
Oh, I remember you told me about
Oh,
that.
it turned her into a very bitter person. My other one was in a Polish concentration camp being sterilized. It,
Horrible.
I look at his pictures. It's too bad I can't smash them. So, what made you write this? And tell us the history behind this one. Book
Okay.
that's
Well,
here.
like the other book, the first book, the
Uh-huh.
the World War II book, it kind of came about by accident. Um, what happened with the first book was I was writing a book about the flight around the world, and I wrote a bunch of extra history, and I carried that history around in various digital devices for 25 years. And then I rediscovered it 25 years later and used it in a new book, which you got and we did an interview about, which is a overview World War II book with a highlight of my trip to the 50th anniversary of D-Day. So that was an accidental book that became then real much time later. This book also came about by accident because when I was creating the D-Day, the history leading to the 50th anniversary of D-Day book, which is a standard paperback,
Mm-hmm.
6x9 paperback, where this is a oversized
Yeah,
book.
I
Yeah, yeah,
know.
it's a large format book, 8.5 by 11. So when I was doing research for the first book, and in fact, I'm going to get a copy of that just to show you to remind. Okay, so this is now to remind. This is the First World War II book.
Oh, that's small.
Yeah, so this is a standard size paperback. So when I was doing the research for this book, I contacted a firm called Digital History Archives because they
Uh-huh.
mine photos from the National Archives.
Mm.
Now, what happened was, so I bought a bunch of photos from this gentleman named Mark Romanich. And what he does is he mines the photos from the National Archives and then he creates digital libraries or digital files of them. And I bought about 5,000 pictures from him related to World War II. And so I used a number of those pictures in this first World War II book. And then after it was out, I was sitting there working on the next book, which was the Pearl Harbor one. And I realized with all those photos and with some of the material from the first book,
Mm.
I could get out a pictorial book fairly easily because all the photos that he gives you, they're high resolution already. So they're ready to go. All they have to do is be cropped and edited in order to put into the book. So I decided what about in the summer or spring. I said I've got a book here that's fairly easy to get out and I can add to it and it'll be very unique. So that's how it came about, which was kind of by accident. And then, as of course, as with any book, as you're progressing with the project, it always changes. You add more stuff here, you decide to alter the chapters here. Like you will notice on the cover, there is a picture of a book called With Hitler in the West. Now, this was a German
Mm.
propaganda book about the Western campaign because this book is specifically geared for the 1940 Western campaign when Hitler invaded France and Belgium and the Low Countries and conquered Western Europe. So Germany put out a propaganda book. So half of this book is from that publication, which was shepherded through by Joseph Goebbels, the head of propaganda for the Third Reich. So I took those pictures, that's about 200 plus pictures from that book. They're all in this book. And I broke it into six different chapters so that the whole campaign kind of unfolds. And then the other half of the main focus is Erwin Rommel, because Erwin Rommel was a new division commander and he had a lot of combat photographers with his division, the 7th Panzer Division. And so the book is from two perspectives. It's from the propaganda perspective of Hitler's headquarters, and then it's from the combat perspective of Erwin Rommel on the ground during the whole campaign, all the way to when France surrendered and beyond.
For some reason, I have the wrong questions, but it's okay. I got
Okay.
them. I went through the book quite a number of times, and the pictures of Hitler and Rommel, I got me so angry.
I don't
And the
blame you. I
ones the
would.
ones that got me the worst were the ones on page 27, 28, and 29, where they actually showed the destruction of the land. I was like, oh my God, this is what my grandmother Bertha tried to describe to me, and I was like, you have to be kidding.
Oh yes.
That I mean, really. And the Ronald, he didn't even hesitate to take the pictures. He didn't even
Well,
hesitate to
okay.
say,
Now
I mean, how can anybody be
okay.
so
Wait. No.
cruel?
No. Yeah. Now the pictures you're talking about were not taken by Rommel. Those were other combat cameramen who were assigned to various units and that ended up in that book hit with Hitler in the West. So those are been selected from probably many thousands of pictures to be in that book. But I don't blame you for being angry. I mean, that was their goal was to conquer Western Europe, and that's what they did. So it was a it was a
I
brutal
mean,
war for West.
seriously,
Yeah.
this is a decent one, and then there was the other ones that got me. I mean, the text is amazing, but the one that's really you wish you could take something and go bam is the one
Uh,
on 35
okay.
with
Let me
all of
look.
his men, the leader of heroes.
Oh
What kind of
yes.
hero is this man? He's a maniac.
Well, that's true. And those the particular soldiers in that bottom picture, which I'll show on the screen, are paratroopers. So, these guys are just soldiers tasked to do a job and they happen to have their glorious leader take a picture with them. Uh, so yes, it was and what I tried to do in the book was separate the soldier experience and the commander experience from the Hitler entourage Nazi leader experience. Now, of course, they're kind of all tied together, but so you have to try and separate those little spheres of influence.
Well, that's great. That's what I don't need. I mean, I went through this book like last night. I go like, oh my God. And then we have this really got me the German fighter planes over Paris on page 41. I mean,
Yes,
I mean, I got lost in these pictures, and it brought back so many memories for so many people.
yes,
This man was. What gets me is that oh, here's the other one that people actually fell for his baloney. That he actually came into power because they actually thought he was wonderful. He wasn't wonderful.
Well,
He
that's
actually
true.
brainwashed all these young people. I mean, if you look at page, the Kaiser went to compliment the Führer at headquarters. Too bad nobody took a gun and shot him on page 61.
Yeah, a lot of people did try and shoot him.
And
Um,
they think he's wonderful. How could you think he's wonderful?
well, not everyone in Germany thought he was wonderful. A lot of people realized he was going to lead Germany to destruction. Um, but it's a very is a comp. It goes back to the whole German trait. Back in Roman times, one of
It's sad.
the Roman emperors 2,000 years ago said, one thing we should never let happen is we should never let the Germanic tribes unite. Well, they ended up uniting in the 1870s, and we got two world wars out of it. Um, so
It,
it's a very complicated question, and it certainly was a terrible time in history.
this had to be a hard book to write.
Well,
I mean, especially looking at the pictures and all the devastation and stuff. And then,
well, you
oh,
should
this one,
see the new one. Okay, now
yeah.
the new one is about Russia. Now this is going to be out
Oh,
in
you
about
have
a
another
month.
one?
This is going to be out in a month. This is North Africa and Russia. Now, if
Oh,
you want
wow.
to talk about destruction, Russia got it 1,000 times worse than Western Europe because the Russia war was a war of extermination. That was a war of conquest and extermination. That was simple. So, in comparison to the Western campaign, Russia was just medieval in character.
Well, my grandmother had to escape Russia.
Well, no, so your grandmother lived in Russia when the war
You know,
started,
yeah, she was my regular Russia. She
right?
she couldn't get out, and then when she finally came out, she lived with her sister and aunt, and they tortured my grandmother. My grandmother, my father's mother, was the most bitter person I ever met in my whole life. She never smiled. I don't know why, and my father did everything for her. I hated to visit because she was never happy.
Yeah,
And when she came, oh God. And then my cousin told me her story after she died, and I wrote her story in one of my books. I felt at least I got to know Bertha.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's sad.
Well,
You
it's
know,
good
this,
that you documented her story
yeah,
and got it out there like that. And
this,
there's a million stories like that, and they're just tragic and horrific and terrible.
well, this section is too bad I didn't go blue. You included the German staff. Just looking at their faces, oh my God, the evilness. And then, of course, Kaiser Wilhelm, who can rot. And then there was a 1940 Field Marshal promotion ceremony. I
Yep.
mean, how did you included all of them? And then I got to know all the people that were part of his staff. And there wasn't one person that I actually liked. They were horrible.
Well, and one of the reason I included that in is because a lot of people don't realize how the institution of the German General Staff evolved over
Uh-huh.
400 years. This is a 400-year-old institution that was actually the guidepost of national strategy
Mm.
for Prussia and then the United Germany. And it was actually one of the most professional and advanced military command organizations in the world in the early 1900s and well into and in World War II. So understanding the institution as it evolved and then became a refined organization is a fascinating because what a lot of people don't realize is
Yeah.
the organization of the German General Staff was adopted by every major power. And when you look at the how corporations operate today, it's based on the General Staff system perfected by the Germans. So our world is organized largely on a German general staff system that was perfected by them.
They included the Rommel papers,
Hmm.
which I found interesting,
Yeah,
and
that book,
included
the book,
yeah,
The
those
Rommel
were
Papers,
interesting.
is very good. I
And
use
that's
that
it.
for a lot of
Oh,
sources.
he just looking at his face. Oh God, help us! There wasn't a kind spot in his body. But
Well,
there a point where they went to try to kill Hitler? Eventually, the
yes,
point that they
no.
went
See,
against
yeah,
him.
no, no. Rommel was a
Yeah,
very unique man. He was a professional soldier who came up through the enlisted ranks. He wasn't from the general staff system,
yeah,
so he was an infantry fighter, and he wasn't. He wasn't a true Nazi. But he was a Hitler favorite, and he used his favoritism with Hitler to advance his career. And he treated POWs as well as he could within the
yeah.
resources he had at hand. And then he was actually forced into suicide by Hitler, who believed he was part of the plot to kill him in July 1944. So Rommel is a very interesting man, and that's why. And his book is based on his writings that were created during the war because he didn't survive the war. So they're very objective and
Uh
show
huh.
they're really about the operations and not so much in Nazi ideology.
This is horrible. Hitler with Hitler in the West. There's part two, part three. I
Yeah,
mean, everywhere, and
yeah, because I broke
nobody
the book up
stopped him. But the
into
pictures on, whoa, this got me. What page is this? 113, 114, and 115
okay,
reminded me of what my grandmother went through, and all of this. I could just picture what she described. My other grandmother, like I said, was in a Russian concentration camp, which I can't
yeah,
imagine what she went through. These
yeah,
pictures, and he's sitting there, his concern for the wounded. Yeah, right. I don't
yeah.
buy it. I don't buy a word of it. No, I'm
Well, this
sorry.
that you got to understand that was a propaganda book.
Yeah, I figured I was right about it. I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, it's a Hitler in the West was a propaganda book created by the propagandists who ran the Third Reich. And the reason I use it is because all the photos were very good. They're all high quality photos that were selected for a certain purpose in the book. So that's why it ended up being used in the book.
Kids in school don't know half of this.
No,
And it was too bad they don't use this to make them understand. Oh, Hitler did this. They have absolutely no idea
my
about
kids know.
anything. I know. I mean, I taught for a whole lot of years, and I did things that were sort of not you're not supposed to do. And I brought in pictures and stuff because I was teaching bright kids, and I didn't care because I said if you're going to learn about a war, World War II, World War One, you got to see it.
Yes.
You
Well,
got to feel. And I brought in pictures of my grandmother, Bertha. She was. I have pictures of her on my phone. She never smiled
right,
ever. She sat on the piano bench in my mother's house, like, and she was married to my grandfather who died, and she married a monster afterwards. Not any better than Hitler.
right.
It's so sad. So these pictures on page 113, whatever, are so real. And then we have this had to be propaganda. 125 and 128
Oh
and
yeah.
129, yeah, of him pretending to care about anything.
Well, yeah, and the last one is Hermann Goering, the head of the Luftwaffe, Field Marshal Goering.
Yeah,
Uh,
now this chapter was interesting. Hitler's victory dritters and Allied collapse, part 4, which is on page 141. Inside
okay.
Hitler's headquarters, 1939 to 45. Did they really get in there?
Well, see, it was written
And
by
the gunners, these are
yeah.
interesting.
See, General Walter Warlimont, who wrote that book, he was in the on the operations staff during the war. So he wrote this book after the war because he saw all the stuff inside. That's a great book, and it gives you a view into how
Look at
crazy.
that. Look at that heavy artillery on page 145.
Oh yeah,
And you know something? I don't be surprised if they use that now everywhere else. Then railway gunfiring. God.
yeah.
And it,
Those guns are so huge.
how does
Created by
somebody
Krupp Armor Works.
no compassion for anybody that's dead? They don't care. And people fell for it. The Fuhrer on page 159, too bad he didn't have a heart attack before. But basically, Major Rommel and Western Campaign Part 3, pushing the Ally. Oh, that was sad. That chapter got me big time. All these people
Yep.
that did nothing, and all they did was destroy them.
Well, that was their job. They were soldiers.
You know, I don't have to feel sorry for them. And then we have, he almost got killed, too bad he didn't, on May 27th, 1940, on 167.
Yep. Yeah, that was an interesting one. I found that story in the book and wanted to include that.
This is amazing. I'm not giving this book to anybody. They're never going to read it. I think people need to understand the gravity of the situation and the fact that he got away with so much because people are so stupid. They wanted to believe him. They actually wanted to believe something.
Well, they needed something at that time,
Yeah, I
and then
know.
when they got it, they realized they got something they didn't necessarily want.
I wonder if the German people today even realize how horrible he was. But there's two parts of Germany. So
I
I
think
just wonder
I think
if
they
they
do.
realize it. It's horrible with what's going on with Israel and Palestine and all of that. There's no win there.
Well,
That's what's really sad. There's no win there.
there
I mean,
will
look
be
at.
if Israel wins,
I
and
don't
they
think
might.
anybody's gonna win. There's no such thing as winning these things. Now, which was the other chapter? Oh yes, with Hitler in the West, Part 6, solidifying, rebuilding, and turning east. In his mind, when he realized he lost, he took the coward's way out. Page
Yep,
215. He took the coward's way out.
he did, and a lot
He
of
and
people
he and
were.
he and his girlfriend. I don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, once he
Oh
had
my God. Who is Dr. Touch and his staff? There's not one, and those poor people and his men enjoy the clearing of the destroyed traffic routes.
well, and did
On
you see the
oh
picture
my
on?
God.
Did you see the picture on 225
I'm
with
turning to that right now.
Hitler as a World War One soldier in
I
1916?
got that. That is really horrible.
Yeah, and it shows him in the same spot, 1916 and 1940, with the same people.
I see that.
Yeah.
Younger, older. How could they be so loyal to a maniac? That's sad.
Well, Germany was in a bad place when he showed up in the middle of the Depression. So it's a very complicated question.
And then we go to Britain, 1940, looking forward and backward. But then the pictures on page 239 to 242. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was when they were finally in
He's
France.
horrible. Look at those. Oh my God. Lying in the sea. Too bad they didn't drop him in the sea. And then you have through towns and countryside. They didn't care who they killed. They just killed anybody. They went through towns and countrysides. Looking at page 243, 447, that whole chapter is like, oh my God,
Yep. Well, that was.
this is sad. To 2020, well, they showed the difference between 2025 and 1940
Yeah,
on
that's
252.
yeah, that's what I thought. That was a good way to show the difference.
Who took those?
I just got them off Google satellite
Really?
photos. Yeah. I just took them right off the internet.
I don't. Oh my God! But you see, somebody that I knew more about was Churchill, and it says how four Titans won the West in 1941 to 45. But did they really?
Well, yeah, because
They did, right?
you the that book is specifically about the four people like Churchill, Roosevelt, Marshall, and Brooke. And Marshall and Brooke were the chiefs of staff, and they ran the war from a strategic point of view for the
Oh
Allies.
my God! You know, people should read, look at the pictures, but the text really says it all.
Well, and
The
what I tried to do,
text was hard to read, but I read all of it. Believe it or not.
thank you. What I tried to
That's
do
just me.
was I tried to point the reader in directions for other fields of inquiry
Yeah.
so that when I highlight a book, I would want the reader to maybe go, wow, I think I want to buy that book, or I think I want to read books by that historian, or I want to read more about that particular topic. Because sometimes I don't have space to really go in deep. So I use those as a pointer to give them an idea of where else to look.
Well, before I forget, this is going to be tough on Wednesday, people. Dr. George Cavuto, my reading professor from college, is going to ask the questions. I get to do the answers. We're going to talk about miscue analysis and teacher parent feedback on how you deal with children that make a lot of reading mistakes. And this is my field. On the 20th, one of my favorite authors, Richard Corretto, with his new series, Winter Season. Wait till you see what happens when you solve a murder. And it's in 1817 with none of the technology that we have today. On the 24th, we have another. On the 24th, we have another one. We have Dante, and on the fourth, we have the anniversary of being on Redstream with Gloria Mitchell. We're going to talk about Black history and what children need to know. On February 4th is 1 year on Redstream. So that's just what's coming up next. You never know what I'm going to do next after that. And I'm very excited that David Putnam is doing one on March 4th on his two books. So we're getting there slowly. And when I get your new book, we'll just schedule another one. Now
All
these
right.
pages really got me. 279, all of them together. There was no way that anybody would ever go up and shoot them, would they? They were so
Well,
afraid of
he
them.
he always had a lot of security. That's why he
Really?
survived all those. He Hitler had at least 20 serious assassination attempts during his entire career as a German leader.
How does this man go into a church on 281? I mean, really, how does he go
Uh,
into a church?
Well, these were all, propaganda. These are all staged
Yeah,
photos.
and the serious look on page 282, baloney. And then he goes to Napoleon's grave. Give me a break.
Yeah, well, that's popular tourist. He never went to Paris ever again. That was the only time he'd ever visited Paris in his life.
So why did he go to the picture that's beautiful? Too bad it's not in color. Is 285 when he goes to the Paris Opera? Like he really cares. It's really sad. I mean, I got this. Seriously, the pictures tell the story. Then if you turn to 286, oh my God, all
Oh
the
yeah,
way through,
all
all the
the
way
time.
through to 289, and oh, oh my God, it says motorized heavy French artillery. Did the French have any kind of?
Yeah, well, the
But
French. The One of the things about this campaign was the
yeah,
French had a more powerful army and more
yeah,
troops, but they weren't advanced in the new tactics of Panzer, the lightning war tactics of using fast tanks to encircle the enemy quickly, and so the Allies lost. because Hitler and his panzer generals had devised new mobile warfare tactics that they couldn't deal with. That's why they lost in the West. There's no reason quantitatively and qualitatively that they should have lost.
Well, this one on 307 reminds me of what's happening up here now, the fires and the destruction and the tornadoes and the and there are places that are going through the same thing as they did back then.
Oh yeah, well this is more of These are
Yeah, I
the
know.
Rommel photos, and on 304 you'll see a picture of Cherbourg, picture of the statue of Napoleon, and then on the bottom is the
I
photo
see.
that I took at D-Day with the same picture, but it was taken in 1994 at the 50th anniversary of D-Day.
This is so sad though. And the one on the city destruction that look like some of the houses up here that are happening there now on 307.
Yep.
That's so sad.
Yes, this is all Cherbourg mainly on the tip of the peninsula there.
If somebody went to Germany now, there were two sides. What would they see?
A very modern place with a lot of
Yeah,
Muslims
yeah.
that shouldn't live there.
So it's so different, right? Now we have Shipwreck Harbor, June 1940 and June 5th, 1994.
Yeah, that's the picture on the
That,
bottom is one I took of the
yeah.
QE2 at the 50th anniversary of D-Day.
Whoa. And heavily damaged French village. He showed no remorse. He didn't care who he killed.
No.
What was his main point? To take over the world?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I got that. His
Of
main
course.
point was he was going to take over the world and rule the United States and rule everything.
Well, he
It,
wanted, yeah, and he also wanted to kill every Jew in Europe.
that he almost did. Just
Yeah,
about did.
almost. He almost did.
I guess my grandmother in a Polish concentration camp was bad, but she wasn't there. But my other grandmother got seriously injured. She was lucky she escaped. And my grandfather went to the Polish underground to get my grandmother and her sisters out.
Wow.
Oh, my
That,
grandfather wanted to do something. He didn't mess with him. He just got it done. Nobody asked any questions. They just automatically got it.
and they
But
all
then
ended up in the United States.
you look at him on page 321. I'd like to wipe the smile off his face.
Well, yeah,
He's disgusting.
that was a victory. Was he
Yeah.
321? Yep. Well, that's when they were celebrating with his buddy Mussolini.
But at the end of the war, he wasn't celebrating, was he?
Nope, he got slammed. He got slammed.
But there were other people besides him and Rommel and Kimmel and Rimmel that were part of this. This is
Oh yeah.
horrible.
Well, and
There were more.
when I created the book, it was centered around the photographs that I had bought.
Yeah.
So I had bought huge amounts of Rommel
Oh,
photographs.
whoa.
Now, see, Rommel was also a photographer. When he was in the field, he had a camera with him all the time. So Rommel took a lot of the pictures that are in the book, along with the photographers who were with his division. Um, so when I created the book, it was based on two pillars: the propaganda photos
Uh huh.
in the book and the Rommel photos. Then they were combined together to create a pictorial story.
He must have had a powerful camera because these pictures are amazing.
Well, yeah, he was using Leica cameras, which
That's
are
what I
still
figured.
there are still the best cameras in the world, and Zeiss lenses. So they had and also the combat cameramen were using top equipment.
The
Um,
scary pictures, 327 with all those people. All those people.
oh yeah, yeah, it was a
Oh, they
big.
were really brainwashed to the end. The great, the prince
Well,
entered
that
the
was
right
kind
train.
of
Oh my God.
that was really almost the height of a lot of. You'll
Yeah.
see in the writing that the summer of 1940 was really the height of
Oh
German
God.
victory, because once they invaded Russia, then of course everything then ended up falling apart.
This is the sad part is page 328. The people were grateful the Chancellor on July 6, 1940.
Yep.
How stupid. And then there's July 19th, 1940.
Yep.
And then he thanks the white. How many people helped kill the Germans for him? How many other people? How many other leaders? This is horrible. And then you have the Russian, the British people taken prisoner on 3/31.
Yep. That's the
I
end. That's
cried
the
for those
final
people.
picture
I
of the
felt so
book.
bad.
Yep. That's the people that were captured at Dunkirk. They ended up, being in prisoner of war camp for the entire war.
And they had all of them on 3/39, but on 3/38, a German patrol was photographed in front of the opera in occupied Paris. How do you manage to just take over these things? I mean, I'm sure the French fought back.
Well, yeah, yeah, they tried,
They
and then at
did.
some point they realized that they were outflanked and they were defeated, and so there was nothing they could do.
This is horrible. I know. I mean, my grandmother described when she finally came here. I said, "Oh my, it's a good thing I wasn't there." And Frederick von Bach reviewing troops. But the most beautiful picture is the one on July 14th, 1940, Bastille Day in France. That's sad. Look at how many people. How many buildings did he blow up? How many things did he destroy?
Oh, it's incalculable. No one knows really in Russia. I
That's
mean,
beautiful, yeah. 343 is beautiful, that build. That's gorgeous. Open garden during the German occupation.
yeah,
And I know that there were people that stayed and didn't realize that they had to escape. They didn't even try to escape. And that was
no.
their moonfall,
Well,
right?
and there was a lot of German Jews who had
I
no
know.
clue. They said we're Germans first, and we're Jews second, and of course they got hit in the head first.
So he decided, it says this account was interesting on page 388, written April 22nd, 1944, 25. The German people have been told that stories of German atrocities were Allied propaganda. They actually believe that?
Oh
Give me a
yeah,
break. Give me a break. And today, do they believe that?
I don't think so. Well, I'll
You
tell
never
you.
know, right?
Wait, I'll tell you a story.
Uh-huh.
I knew a guy. His name was Herbert Quant. Now, Quant is Herbert. The original Herbert Quant was the guy who owned BMW during the war.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what the matriarch of the family never believed, and to this day doesn't believe that the Holocaust ever happened.
Oh, I know. There are a lot of people that don't.
Oh yeah, and this is still a powerful German family, one of the richest German families. Still, they own BMW.
There's a whole bunch of people, if you read on different social media, that don't believe
Yeah.
that it ever happened.
Yep.
But I know that when my grandmother told me what she went through, she lost her eyesight. She lost her ability to have children. My mother's mother, my other grandmother had four children, and she was lucky she even came here.
Right.
And when my
Yeah.
grandfather died, it was like her life was over. But there are still people, if you notice, that will say the Holocaust would never happened. And somebody said it to me once, and they don't want to know what my answer was. I showed them pictures of my grandmother to prove that it really happened. And I have on my phone somewhere pictures of Poland and Germany because somebody took pictures of them during the war. And I have Bergen-Belsen and all of that just to prove it did happen. Then we have April 22nd, 1945, the massacre account by Fifth Army HQ surgeon written on April 22nd, 1945. And those pictures, oh my God,
Yeah, those pictures were
those are
distributed
real.
to the
Those real.
soldiers. Those pictures were found in my great uncle. My great uncle gave them to his
Whoa.
brother, and those were distributed to the soldiers at the orders of Eisenhower. And my great uncle was there. He viewed all of
I
this.
remember that
Yeah.
because the first book was written in parts. I know that.
Yes.
And I read it 3 times because it was like, oh my God, this is so sad. And of course, landing on Omaha Beach must have been really interesting to meet all those people.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely.
June 4th, year 1996. And then the last chapter, before we finish, is on 392,
Yep.
Passive Armor.
Yep, the 5th Armored Division, which was my great uncle's unit, and they did a lot. I wanted to include, I needed to fill some extra space, so I kept these final things in to fill out. And then at the end, there's recommended books, and of course, I included my books in the recommended book section.
What made you decide to explore this particular history?
Just by accident, I happened to learn of all. I have 9 combat veteran relatives who fought in the war, uh, and so it was interest in history, family history, and it just kind of happened by accident. My
It's
everything.
really sad that you can't go to schools and tell kids about this.
I know.
I
Well,
know when I taught, it was like I loved every minute of it. And it's funny because they talk about it on the internet. A lot of them say something about it. Then I answer them and I said, I thought I taught you this. I
right.
thought I taught there's like 50 of them that are on the internet that I taught, and they remind me that I did a good job.
Well, I'll tell you
Which at
a
least they don't
funny
hate
story.
they still love me. And if
Well,
they have a problem they don't understand, because they're teaching some of them and go, this is how you do the lesson plan if you want to do it right. Their
well,
problem is that they don't know how to do research.
that's good that you tried to teach them that. Now,
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. When I'm with my kids, I don't live with my kids. They're 15 and 16. They live with their mom. But when I'm with them, I'm always babbling on about World War II and whatnot and history. And so my daughter was in her history class, and they did like a Jeopardy game about World War II.
Ah, nice.
And my daughter knew all the answers. And when everyone started looking at her, going, "What? What?" And the teacher was amazed. And so I was so pleased that she had freaked out everyone with her knowledge of World War II because of my babbling about it all the time and giving her my books and whatnot. So I thought that was fun.
That is great because if it is kid today, what year it happened, we don't know why. They
That's
don't
right.
understand the gravity of the situation. If I was still teaching, I would definitely bring the pictures in to show them. And
Yeah.
I've told many of the people that are teaching, in order to get it, you got to see it. You got to picture
Right.
because they still don't believe that that's real. They don't believe
Right.
it even happened. That's what's good. So what's next for you? Tell us
Well, the
more.
Russia book will be out in about, the Russia campaign. This one's going to be 500 pages.
Oh,
This
that's not
is,
big. That's okay.
yeah,
Did
100
you but
pages
did you do
more.
it in large print though?
Yep, it's large format. This one's going to have over 500 pictures, and a lot of them are Russia, and some of the pictures are really graphic. Um, because what happened, and there's a section in here about the Holocaust in Minsk. And so this is an expanded version of this one. I'm putting the final touches on it now, and I expect it to be out probably in late February.
Oh, this new one?
Yep.
That's good. You got to tell me because
Yeah.
I'm filling up for March and April.
Okay.
I'm getting popular, which is really
That's
amazing.
great. That's
Yeah, I
great. I'm
know.
glad.